In Unreal Engine, subsystems can be used to extract certain behavior in its own class while linking it to the lifetime of a certain object. Each subsystem has a different scope and lifecycle depending on the type of the subsystem. Further, the creation and destruction of a subsystem is managed automatically. Some of the benefits of using a subsystems are that they help you to avoid overriding engine classes or adding functionality to already busy classes. Further, they provide modularity and consistency in your codebase and provide user-friendly interaction within blueprints. There exist many different subsystem types that you can use, for example, engine subsystem, editor subsystem, game instance subsystem, local player subsystem, or the world subsystem. Let's take the game instance subsystem as an example. Through that you can add behavior that is linked to the lifetime of the game instance without the need to create a custom game instance class or adding more functionality directly to a game instance class. Now, when a game instance gets created, it also triggers the creation of our custom game instance subsystem. That also means when our game instance will be destroyed that our linked custom game instance subsystem will also be deinitialized. Code for the initialization of a subsystem can be added to the initialize function, and the deinitialize function can be used to add functionality for the termination of a subsystem. Now, for example, if we start playing in the editor, you will see that we first trigger the initialize code of our subsystem, and if we terminate our current game session, the game instance will be destroyed, which will also trigger the deinitialization code of our subsystem. As you can see, the lifetime of our custom game instance subsystem is directly linked to the lifetime of the game instance itself. In C++, you can easily access the instance of a subsystem through the corresponding context object. For example, to access a world subsystem, you can call getWorld, getSubsystem, and then provide the desired subsystem you want to access. For a game instance subsystem, you can get the game instance and then again call getSubsystem with the desired subsystem class. If we take a look into Blueprint, you can also access your subsystem easily in the correct context by just using the name of your subsystem. Then, if we have a custom function in our subsystem and mark it as blueprint callable, we can easily call it from within other blueprints by getting the subsystem instance and then calling the function. Now, there might be the case that you want to change certain parameters of a subsystem from within the editor. For this example, let's assume we have an integer variable that also gets logged during the initialization of our subsystem. To create a blueprint instance of your subsystem, you have to mark the subsystem as blueprintable. If we then mark our property as edit defaults only, you will see that you can create a blueprint instance of your subsystem and are also able to change the value of the variable. Next, you have to ensure that this blueprint always will be loaded by the engine. Because if you restart the engine now and don't open your blueprint before pressing play, you will see that the initialization of the blueprint version is not triggered. To ensure that your subsystem is always loaded, you have to go to the project settings, under game and asset manager. Here you can add a new entry for primary asset types to scan. In our case, we can call it custom game instance subsystem, with the asset base class being the blueprint version of our subsystem, and also ticking the option that it has blueprint classes. Next, you can either provide a directory to scan for the asset or the asset reference itself. However, if we now press play, you will see that our initialization code will be triggered twice. Once for the default C++ version and once for the blueprint class that we have created. And this might not always be desirable. One solution for this problem is that you can enforce that only the blueprint version of the subsystem gets used. For that you can override the function should_create_subsystem and check if the instance of your subsystem is based on a blueprint class or not. Here you can also add other conditions, since sometimes it might not be necessary to have an instance of this subsystem. If we compile our project now with this version of should_create_subsystem, we will see that our initialization code will only be triggered once, namely for our blueprint version. And with that, you should be ready to utilize subsystems in your project. Like always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like the video if it was helpful and maybe consider subscribing. With that, see you next time.